Hey guys, I'm attempting to make another video. I've been really passionate lately about this topic, learning a lot about it. I'm really experiencing a lot of it personally, and I'm just really overwhelmed, and I really want to share with you kind of what I've been learning and realizing in hopes to encourage you, because I'm sure you're going through something similar or have before, and if you haven't, God bless your heart. Being in this age, like in society, a very, very common thing is dating and having a boyfriend or girlfriend in a relationship. I think, like, my whole life, I've always, I was always that younger girl who had a crush on the boy in, like, preschool and was, like, stealing his crayons and crap and, like, all that. Throughout every grade, like, I always had a crush on a boy or was talking to a boy. I'm pretty sure, like, I got a ring pop for Valentine's Day one year, and I, like, thought I was getting married. I was like, anyway, so long story short, I have always, in some way, shape, or form, rooted a little bit of my identity in a guy. I don't really know where specifically this has stemmed from, but maybe you can relate. I just always found it fun and helpful to my self-esteem to have a guy kind of doting on me or giving me attention. Just a couple years back, I really started digging myself a hole with this whole problem. I just have been involved with some relationships that were really great in the beginning, and there's a lot of good things to those relationships, but I think I was idolizing the idea of these relationships versus like facing the reality of them, that they just weren't good for me, and that they weren't what the Lord would have for me during that time. And I decided during that time to put God's ideas behind me and just totally adapt to this, and conform to this whole idea of, I have a boyfriend, like, I'm just going to submit to my relationship, and this is going to be the biggest part of my life, and like this can make me like all happy and joyful all the time. Not the case. Okay, heartbreak happens. It's real. When you invest your entire heart, soul, and mind into a single being, humans are imperfect. And when you invest all of that time and energy and your happiness begins to like teeter-totter on this guy or girl, you will always be left empty at the end of the day. You will always be left, it'll be an emotional roller coaster, because when they're up, you're up, and when they're down, you're down, and when they're treating you well, you're up, and when they're treating... And this is just something I really experienced, like, more than once, and with multiple men. And just recently has the Lord really taken hold of this issue in my heart and really spoken truth into me. So I don't want to make this video like as long as my last one, but I do want to just say a few points for you to take away. Point number one: you cannot find something that you already have. Does that make sense? You cannot find a key that you already have in your possession. Like, it's not lost because you have it. And so the biggest misconception with people our age is we forget that we have everything we need in Jesus, in God, and we look for it in other people, but we can never find it because people are not God, people are not Jesus, they cannot satisfy our souls like the Lord can. And so we're looking, and it's literally an endless maze of looking for something in your hands. Hello? Okay, I'm so sorry. Somebody's at my door. They took my trash, though, so that was nice. Okay, you understand that. Like, we can't search for something that we already have. We already have Christ. We've had Him since the day we surrendered our lives to Him, and He's not going anywhere. So when we're sitting there looking and searching, imagine how much that hurts God, to stare at His children running around like chickens with their heads cut off, looking for something that they literally have already. He's sitting up there. He's like, yo, I'm enough for you. I love you to death. I will provide for you. I will satisfy your soul if you would just like calm down and love me. Okay, my second point. You will not be needing somebody's approval if you're resting in God's acceptance. Okay, so for so long, I was like so focused on getting this guy's approval, like just expecting him to make me feel wanted and expecting him to make me feel loved. And if I wasn't being shown love, if I wasn't being treated as I was expecting or wanting to be treated, I all of a sudden felt like devalued, and I started to think that I wasn't accepted. But lately, especially like this year, the Lord has really poured it on me thick to realize that I am accepted. period. There's no question mark. There's no comma. Like, I am accepted. I am welcomed with open arms, and I am loved with a love that is bigger and surpassing of any other type of love on this planet. And when I really like let that embed itself in my soul, and I realize that, oh, I am always loved. Like, this love does not fluctuate or change. I am accepted in Christ. Like, I don't need to pine and reach for other people's acceptance, because I'm already filled. And when you're already filled up with that love and that acceptance, you have no need. You don't have a hunger. Right? You don't hunger for something if you're full already. My third point, and it's a point that I am still trying to fully believe myself, but singleness does not equal loneliness. Okay, so unfortunately, for whatever reason, somebody decided to start the trend that if you're single, you're lonely, and that's boring, and everybody should just pair up and date. Singleness is actually a really beautiful gift from the Lord. I've found that in my singleness, I'm able to better focus on Him. There aren't any distractions, or there isn't a person in my life who is taking up that time. And I'm not saying that relationships are bad. I truly believe that the Lord has put relationships in our lives. But I think when the Lord chooses to give us a season of singleness, our innate reaction is to be bitter and like bored and feel like He's putting us through this discipline. But when we can really realize that the Lord is jealous for you and I. Like, the Lord wants one-on-one time with you. He wants your heart. And we're dating somebody, we have a tendency to take our eyes off of Christ and look at this person before us. And we start to be distracted, whether we like to admit it or not. It just is what it is. You are distracted. The Lord wants us to endure singleness sometimes so that it can just be you and God on a date, right? Like, it's not you, this guy or this girl, and God. It's just you and God. Like, He really delights in that one-on-one time. And that's just something I've been learning. Like, if you're single, cherish that time, adore that time, and use it as a time to maximize the potential that the Lord has given you. I just want to encourage you, take your eyes off of the outside world. Stop looking at other people's relationships and pining for one of your own. God has given you singleness as a divine appointment to meet up with you and have your undivided attention. God has anointed you for something so much greater than loneliness. He's given you a spirit of power to overcome all the feelings of loneliness and rejection. You don't have to look at it as this bad, awful season of drought. This is the time for you to allow Him to mold you and create you into the whole that He wants you to become before you come together with another, hopefully whole person. Because if you're a half coming together with another half, the two of you come together to make a whole, but that's never how it should be. Like, because if one part of that equation goes away, you're left feeling incomplete. And so allow the Lord to make you whole before He brings you into another person's life. It's just better that way. Look at Jesus and do not take your eyes off of Him, and He will bring you the man or woman that He has for you. And when that person comes into your life, they will be looking at Jesus alongside of you, and you won't take your eyes off of Him. You will chase Him together and grow together as a couple on fire for the Lord, instead of getting lost in distraction of each other. There's just so much more to life than that. Remember that you are really, really loved. Even if you're single and you're lonely, you are on the path to something so much greater. So yeah, be encouraged. I love you all. Bye.